Hey there, welcome. You ever feel like your money lives this whole secret life that you're just not a part of? It shows up, it disappears, and sometimes it just shrinks without any warning. Well, today we're going to pull back that curtain. We're going to follow your money on its incredible journey to really break down the core financial ideas that everybody should know.
So here's the game plan. We'll start with what I call the paycheck problem. Then we'll uncover the bank's big secret and expose money's silent killers. After that, we'll learn how to actually play the financial game, and we'll wrap up by exploring the real meaning of money. Sound good? Let's jump in.
Okay, so let's dive right into this with maybe the most relatable financial moment there is. Payday.
Ah, yes. That feeling. We've all been there, right? You work your tail off, you get that notification that says you've been paid, but then you look at your bank account and the number is just way smaller. It's like this modern ritual of watching a huge chunk of your money just vanish into thin air.
So, where on earth did it go? Well, the biggest piece of that disappearing act has a name we all know and, well, we all know it. It's taxes.
Now, hold on. Before we grab our pitchforks, it's actually really important to get what taxes are for. You can think of them as the subscription fee for living in an organized society. That money is what funds the roads you drive on, the schools in your town, and all kinds of public services.
And the government gets its slice in a few different ways. You've got income tax on what you earn and sales tax on pretty much everything you buy. If your investments do well, that's a capital gains tax. Then there's Social Security, which is kind of like a forced savings plan for retirement, and Medicare, which helps fund health insurance. The point is, it's a whole system designed to take a little piece at every step of your money's journey.
All right, so after the tax man takes his cut, your now slightly smaller paycheck lands in the bank. But what is it really doing in there? Is it just sitting in some giant vault, maybe guarded by a laser grid? Yeah, not quite.
You see, most of us picture a bank as this big, safe box. But its real job is to be a financial matchmaker. It's in the business of connecting people who have extra money, the savers, with people who need money, the borrowers, who want to buy a car or start a business.
And the way they do this is through a system with a kind of fancy name, fractional reserve banking. But it's based on a really simple bet that not everyone is going to show up on the exact same day and demand all of their cash back at once. So because of that, the bank only needs to keep a tiny fraction of your deposit on hand. And the rest, it gets loaned out.
And this right here, this is their whole business model. It's genius, really. You put your money in, they lend most of it out to somebody else and charge them a pretty high interest rate. Meanwhile, they pay you a super, super low interest rate for keeping your money there. And that gap, that difference between the two, that's their profit. It's a simple idea, but unbelievably effective.
Okay, so your money's in the bank, part of this big matchmaking system. But even when it's just sitting there are these powerful, invisible forces constantly working against it.
So, the first silent killer is inflation. Here's the best way to think about it. You know when you buy a candy bar you loved as a kid and suddenly it's half the size and twice the price? That's inflation in a nutshell. Your dollar is still technically a dollar, but its purchasing power, what it can actually buy you, has gone down.
Now, to be fair, a little bit of inflation, say around 2% a year, is actually seen as a sign of a healthy, growing economy. It's predictable, it's manageable, no big deal. But when inflation spikes, that's when it becomes a huge problem. It just aggressively eats away at the value of your savings. All that money you worked so hard to put away is suddenly worth much, much less. It's a real wealth killer.
The other major force you hear about is a recession. This is basically the bust part of the economy's natural boom and bust cycle. It's like an economic reset button. Things slow down, companies cut back, and unfortunately, jobs can be lost. It's a painful process for sure, but it is a recurring part of how our economic system works.
So you've got these big forces, like inflation and recessions, working against you. And it's easy to feel like you're just, a pawn in a much bigger game. But you're not. You are an active player. And like any game, you've got a role, and, maybe most importantly, you've got a score.
And that score is your credit score. It's just a 3-digit number, somewhere between 300 and 850, that tells lenders one simple thing. Are you trustworthy? It's not about how rich you are, it's about how reliable you are. If they lend you money, are you going to pay it back? That's it.
And check this out. The breakdown of that score is actually pretty revealing. Look at the biggest slice of the pie here. 35% is just your payment history. That means the single most important thing you can do is just pay your bills on time. It's not about being wealthy. It's about being consistent and reliable.
This brings us to the two-sided nature of interest. It can be your worst enemy or your best friend. When you borrow money, interest is the price you pay, and it can be this destructive force that just runs away from you. But when you save or invest, interest becomes your reward. It's like your best employee, working 24/7, never taking a vacation to make you more money. And that leads us perfectly into investing.
This is hands down the best weapon you have against inflation. It's the process of making your money go out there and work for you. See, instead of trading your time for money, which is what a job is, you're trading your money for more money.
All right, so after following this whole wild journey from paycheck to bank to the greater economy, let's just take a huge step back and ask a much bigger question about the one thing we've been talking about this whole time.
I mean, seriously, is money even real? It sure feels real when you don't have enough of it to pay rent. But what actually gives a piece of paper or just some numbers on a screen all of its power?
Well, the strange and amazing truth is, money is a social construct. It's a story we all agree to believe in. A dollar bill has no more real value than, say, a cool-looking rock. The only reason it can buy you a coffee and the rock can't is because we, as a society, all share the belief that the dollar is worth something. Its value is built completely on trust. And that brings us to the most important point. Money is a tool. It's a system based on belief. But the most valuable asset you have isn't the money itself, it's time. Understanding how all these concepts work is the absolute first step to using that time wisely. Because real, lasting wealth isn't about some lucky